Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan. I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of colour. So today's video is skincare in your 50s. We're going to go into a lot of detail about what's happening to your skin on a cellular level, the key actives you should be using, why you should be using them, how to layer them for your AM and PM routine, mistakes that get made, and then of course Dr. V approved products. All the products I recommend are evidence-based and none of my videos have ever been sponsored and they will never be sponsored, as you already know. Right, so a few things. Number one, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because I am going to be in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video. And secondly, make sure you get your hands on a copy of Skin Revolution, available on Amazon. It's a book I've written with HarperCollins. And today we're going to go through chapter 5, which is basically skincare through the decades. So here you can see the contents page. I'm about to go through chapter 5. So here we go. From Formulation Insights. Step-by-step routines. So beautiful. Today we're going through skincare in our 50s. So there's basically more information in the book, just to give you a quick flick through. Okay, so first of all, when we go through menopause in our 50s or late 40s, there's a rapid reduction in collagen. This leads to loose skin and fine lines that can actually deepen. So the key actives you want in your skincare routine would be your vitamin A, fat-soluble vitamin C, your tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate, and your peptides. The next thing that happens is that cell turnover is much slower in your 50s. It can take up to 60 days for new skin cells to come to the surface. And so you're seeing duller skin and it's much harder for actives to penetrate the skin. It's harder for your skin to recover from anything. Any injury or rash takes much longer. And so exfoliation is key in your 50s and 60s. However, there is a good way of exfoliating and a bad way of exfoliating, especially with age, because you have less glucosaminoglycans in the skin. This basically means that you have less water magnets in the skin, and so the skin is drier. If you exfoliate dry skin, it's only going to damage your skin barrier and lead to irritation. So I'm going to be discussing a little bit later the correct way to exfoliate aging skin. Also with age, we have a reduction in oil production. So this is great in terms of you no longer get acne, but it means that the skin is drier. In addition, there's less elasticity, so less snapback of the skin. So this means that pores can appear larger and wrinkles can appear deeper. In addition, you may have more hooding of the eyes, of the eyelids specifically. In addition, you're producing 1% less collagen every year from 21 years old onwards. So by the time you get to 50, you're producing about 30 to 40% less collagen than at 21 years old. And this is why ideally you want to be taking collagen supplements. So for example, here's my 8 grams marine collagen that I have every day. I prefer marine over bovine because there's higher bioavailability. You want to be looking for 8 to 10 grams of collagen. Anything less really hasn't been clinically proven to be effective. And the way collagen supplements work is that you're drinking collagen, they're broken down into fragments, peptides, and it tricks your fibroblasts, the cells that produce collagen, to produce more collagen. And so that's how collagen supplements work. It's not that you're drinking the collagen and it goes straight to your skin. You're basically stimulating more collagen production from your fibroblasts. So this is Dr. V Collagen Boost that hopefully should be available for you in a couple of weeks' time. But I'm not saying you have to have this one, but I would recommend 8 grams of marine collagen. You're likely to see more volume loss from the hypodermis under the dermis, and this can lead to more skin sagging and loose skin. So actually at this point, a lot of people do look at cosmetic procedures such as fillers as a way to gain back that volume. There tends to be more inflammation taking place in the skin, and so the skin doesn't recover rapidly from environmental assault. So for example, UV or smoking or pollution is actually much worse for us as we age. And so it's really important that you have anti-inflammatories in your skincare routine, things like aloe, panthenol, allantoin, and also antioxidants. So antioxidants essentially mop up free radicals and prevent damage of collagen. Additional skincare I want you to, ingredients I want you to incorporate are things that are going to help hydrate the skin. So we already talk about hyaluronic acid, for example, and ceramides, but ideally you want to have omega-3 in your skincare routine too, and of course niacinamide. We want to create a healthy skin barrier for you. Okay, so now let's move on to your AM/PM routine. In the morning, I do not want you to strip your skin using harsh soaps or surfactants. Stick with a micellar gel wash, followed by a fatty moisturiser with humectants in it, something like glycerin, urea, or hyaluronic acid, and then your SPF 50. That's going to protect you from free radicals forming on the skin when UV hits the skin. At nighttime, I want you to double cleanse. So this is your oil melting cleanser, which is basically going to melt off the makeup and sunscreen, followed by your micellar gel wash. Then you want to tone, and your toner is your first layer of hydration, and you really should be triple hydrating in your 40s and 50s. So with your toner, you want to be looking for things like niacinamide, centella asiatica, and humectants, water magnets, things like hyaluronic acid, glycerin. This is really important. It's the first thing that's going to go onto the skin. Next, moving on to exfoliation. Now, if this is the first time you're doing skincare, then I really wouldn't do exfoliation until you've done at least a month of the rest of the routine, because exfoliation is the most irritating thing. And I want to make sure you have a healthy skin barrier before you exfoliate. So this is the other reason why I want you to use a hydrating toner first, and then you exfoliate maximum once a week. When you exfoliate, please opt for a chemical exfoliator. So an acid rather than a physical scrub, which is more irritating to the skin and actually removes living skin cells, not just dead skin cells. So chemical exfoliation is even, and you get an even glow without damaging the barrier. So I would avoid glycolic, to be honest, at this age. Glycolic acid is probably the easiest to get hold of in terms of products on the shelf, but it has a tiny molecular weight and flies through the skin. I would rather you opt for mandelic acid or lactic acid or a combination, or even PHAs. PHAs are a new form of a new breed of acids, exfoliating acids. So something like gluconolactone, for example, which is works very much like an AHA, but is even less irritating than mandelic acid even. So if you're only exfoliating once a week, then what do you do the rest of the time? So at this point, you're probably going to want to use your retinol, which is fine, but I would opt for 0.3% retinol, so something less than 0.5% basically, because it can be quite irritating. And you do the sandwich method. So you do fatty moisturizer, retinol, fatty moisturizer. So you're buffering that irritating ingredient. If you put retinol directly onto a dry skin, it's bad news, because retinol increases cell turnover and dries normal healthy barriers out. So you're gonna have a bit of a disaster on your hands if you put retinol onto a dry skin. So please don't do this. I want you to make sure your skin feels as supple as possible. You've been doing everything else. So hydrating the skin, using moisturizers, using your toners, having your collagen supplements, so that by the time that you apply your exfoliator onto the skin, your skin is in the best possible condition to do so. So on the days you're not exfoliating, it's moisturizer, retinol, followed by moisturizer. However, my favorite, I should probably tell you, is retinaldehyde. It's a form of vitamin A that's 11 times more effective than retinol, but with no irritation. And so even with our antioxidant power serum, this is retinol palmitate. It's great for sensitive skin, but you guys have asked me to reformulate this with retinaldehyde in it, which I'm working on at the moment, because it's just the best for skin of colour. Okay, now is the most important bit, which is how do you hydrate your skin and make sure it's hydrated all night. So with your moisturizer, you really need ceramides, peptides. You want to make sure that it still feels thick and fatty on the skin. So not a lotion. A lotion will mean that water evaporates quickly. It has a high water content. Your skin is going to feel dry quite quickly. On top of this, you need to basically create a second skin, and you do this with a facial oil such as marula oil or squalene. The Ordinary does a great one, so does Naturium, so it's fairly easy to find good facial oils. On top of this, at this point, you're not unlikely to be getting acne in your 50s, and so I would start slugging. Slugging is when you basically put Vaseline or petroleum jelly onto the skin, and you are sealing the skin basically at nighttime to make sure there's no more water evaporation from the skin. When you wake up in the morning, your skin should feel supple. It should never, ever, ever feel tight or dry. If it's feeling tight or dry, it means you've not done a good enough job of hydrating at nighttime. An additional thing you can do is use a humidifier at nighttime. A humidifier next to your bed is going to mean that water is being pulled from outside into the skin rather than the other way around. So don't forget to, for these actives to work, for vitamin A to work at nighttime, you want to create a healing environment. And the optimal environment for skin is a well-hydrated skin. In addition, your cell turnover is much slower. By your 50s, your cell turnover is about 60 days. And so it's not the optimal amount of time. And so this is why you have to do everything you can to make the skin as hydrated and supple as possible. This really, by your 50s, this is when you start seeing the results of sunscreen. If you've been wearing sunscreen your whole life, you're not going to have premature aging. Your pigmentation will be minimal. And really, if that's all you've done was moisturizer and sunscreen, in your 50s, your skin is actually going to be in a good condition. If you haven't worn sunscreen your whole life, you're going to start seeing results in your late 40s and 50s. If you've never, done skincare before, or ever been interested in skincare before, don't go into your 50s with all the ingredients thinking, let me just throw everything at this to get the best results, because honestly, that is going to wildly irritate the skin. And skin recovery time is so slow by 50s that it's going to take you 60 days for your skin to recover from any damage by putting on the wrong acid or going in too strong with your vitamin A. So really gentle and slowly is the way. Add in one new product at a time if you're new to skincare. Moisturizer and sunscreen are your absolute key. And cleansing your skin so that your skin feels supple. Slugging your skin, so at nighttime applying your Vaseline petroleum jelly. These small changes to your skincare routine are going to have a huge impact on the overall look and feel of your skin. So I've written down a list of key actives that I want you to use in your skincare routine. So starting off with tetrahexyldecoyl-ascorbate, your fat-soluble vitamin C that penetrates into the dermis to stimulate collagen. Retinol palmitate or retinaldehyde, my absolute favourite. Tocopherol acetate, is basically your vitamin E. Green tea extract. Aloe, which is soothing, anti-inflammatory. Ceramides, which is essential because for skin of colour we have less ceramides than in Caucasian skin, so we need to be using ceramides in our moisturiser. So for example, even in Cera-Pep Brightening Moisturiser that we basically made for skin of colour, I put in here ceramides, peptides, licorice root extract for brightening and pigmentation, and niacinamide to strengthen the skin barrier. So this was a fatty moisturiser made specifically for skin of colour. So just so you can see the texture of it. So whenever you pick your moisturiser, make sure it's coming out fatty and literally can sit on the skin. Rather than like a lotion which is going everywhere and has a high water content. You really want your skin to feel like butter by the time you've actually applied it. Okay, so let's go through some Dr. V approved products. Starting off with your hydrating cleanser, I love Micellar Gel Wash, or you can use our Dr. V Micellar Gel Wash with niacinamide in it. Moisturizers, I love a Rich Base Vanny Cream. So I also like First Aid Ultra Repair Cream. And obviously we've already discussed Dr. V Cera-Pep Moisturiser. Then SPF 50, I love Colour Science because it's a mineral sunscreen and it's also tinted. And of course we have Inzincable SPF 50, which is invisible but also contains MelaShield, which is a UV stable tyrosinase inhibitor. So this is great if you have any form of pigmentation. Moving on to toners, I love COSRX Centella Water because it's anti-inflammatory and it's got no alcohol in it. It literally is called alcohol-free toner. Otherwise, you can use our hydrating toner too. So this is Super Hydrating Toner from the Dr. Vanita Rattan range. Okay, moving on to exfoliators. Sensitive skin, so I really love Wish Trend Mandelic Acid. I would stick with basically the least irritating, lowest percentage acid in your 50s. Moving on to antioxidants, I like Environ Skin Essential Fighter Antioxidant AVST2. I do prefer retinaldehyde, but actually there's no safe options yet on the market, and so there's literally nothing I can recommend to you for a retinaldehyde. Even I haven't done it, and this is with our antioxidant serum. It's a retinol palmitate. I am reformulating right now with retinaldehyde in it, but it's not at market yet, so I'm hoping in the next 3 or 4 months. Okay, moving on to stimulating collagen. So there are a few key actives you need. One is tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate. You want your peptides. You want to be drinking your marine collagen every day. Putting collagen on the skin in a cream doesn't penetrate to stimulate collagen. All it does is it's a moisturizer, it's a humectant. So when you see collagen cream, just know that's just a moisturizer. It's not stimulating collagen, that's a myth. I like Paula's Choice antioxidant serum as well for stimulating collagen. And obviously we put in tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate into our antioxidant serum, but there aren't actually that many serums with tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate. Right now it's basically us and Paula's Choice. There are a couple others that aren't safe as far as I'm aware, but if you guys know of any other tetrahexyldecyl-ascorbate serums, can you write them down below so we can help each other? Also, in our private Facebook group, Dr. V's Sock Family, if you could write it in there too, just in case they're not watching this particular video. Right, okay, so moving on to slugging. Well, there's only one really, it's petroleum jelly. And so I prefer Vaseline, but you know, whichever one you can get your hands on is absolutely fine. Don't forget, I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video. So subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know I'm here. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts, Skincare by Dr. V and Dr. Vanita Rattan. Please follow us on Facebook. And don't forget to get yourself a copy of Skin Revolution. It's for the whole family. So your kids can use it, parents can use it, and even your skin changes throughout the decade. So it's a great reference library to go back to. And all the products I recommend in here are basically evidence-based. Nothing is sponsored, so you know what you're purchasing is worth your money. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.